Lord have mercy. It's been a long day. So if you see the title, we're talking all things Tory Lanez today, baby. How are we in the chat? Hey, Bostress. Hey, Vintage Paris Dow Anna. Let's see who else we got here. Hey, G Marie. Hey, Sequence. Hey, Serena. Hey, Aja. Hey, Interstellar Perspective. Hey, Scarlett. Hey, Kanith. Oh, Lord, I'm tongue-tied on that one. Baby, you. I'm sorry. Hey, Kat. Hey, Kamari. Hey, Chill Barbie. Hey, Terrell Destiny. Hey, Justice for Us. Hey, Cashmere. Hey, Nisha. Hey, Nisi. Anaya. Hey, baby. How are you? Okay, I think I got everybody. Imani. Mystic. Okay, there's my Barbie. Hey, Teddy. Central Sassy. So, we're going to go back down memory lane. And we're going to go through some of my old predictions. I know everybody hasn't watched my old Tory Lanez readings from as far back as almost 2 years ago. But a lot of what we're seeing right now in the media are predictions that I had at least a year and a half to 2 years ago. So one of the biggest ones that we're witnessing right now is that I told you all two things that are happening this week. And I mean, really, really happening this week. I told you that MAGA would move like the hand of God to help bring Tory Lanez home. And I told you that when the story makes it to the white news, the Associated Press, that it pretty much was over. It was no way to hide it anymore once it made it to that side of the media. You said it's bad on Twitter. I, I told y'all Shea Butter Twitter was going to melt. Well, here's the update to the MAGA prediction. Y'all, I love the way MAGA set this up. This pick and roll was, oh my God, this was everything. So if you've seen any of the videos, because baby girl has been out here on the path, if you've seen any of the videos from state representative, I think her name is Paula Anna Luna. Hope I'm saying her name right. Let's put some respect on her name. Baby, she's been on a press run heavier than Miss London. You said shout out to Amber Rose. Listen, they allowed Amber Rose to hand it over to the Democratic Party, and now it's a bipartisan effort to help get him out of prison. I want to make sure y'all didn't miss that. It's now bipartisan. I knew when I saw her last name was Luna, it was going to be some trouble, y'all. I used to watch the Boondocks. So if any of y'all watch the Boondocks, then you know who Luna is on the Boondocks. I expected a lot of people to get involved, not just Amber Rose. I told y'all that the industry would form Voltron. That was the biggest thing that came out of this weekend, right along with MAGA supporting Tory Lanez. Would you say Akuna was for everybody that does my tarot class? I didn't do tarot class this Monday. I did it on Tuesday because Monday was overwhelming, y'all. I pulled some cards on the relationship between Megan and Miss Luna, Mrs. Luna. It looked like from the energy that I pulled, her initial tweet was going to just be it for lending her support. And then Megan jumped off the porch and Mrs. Luna said, "Hold my purse." She literally windmilled on the wrong one this time. Said, "Is Luna breadcrumbing?" How is she breadcrumbing? She's been on 5 interviews already, practically. That don't look like breadcrumbing to me. That look like she coming out swinging. Thank you, baby. I greatly appreciate you. Let that magnify back to you 10 times fold. You said, oh, Angel, like I told you earlier about Megan going to the anime convention next week. She took the post down. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Already. Said, I love Luna. Rock Nation will crumble. Listen, did y'all pay attention to what Como said in his introduction? They think he's not getting a fair situation due to Rock Nation. I don't give a damn about Jay-Z or Rock Nation. I said, oh, the light-skin violence is real. I love it. You said Representative Luna said ring camera. Yes. But didn't I tell y'all more footage will be coming out? I told y'all more footage will be coming out and y'all would get to see more of what happened. Y'all, Tommy Lauren even picked up on this story. Charlemagne girl. Charlemagne out here backpedaling and pussy popping for dear life for Pebble Nation, and his girl Tommy Lauren is actually picking this up for Tory Lanez. When I tell you the divide on this is hilarious. He said politicians don't care about celebs like that, I promise you. It's not about caring about the celebs, honey. You got to realize this is a career builder. And if you can prove that this black man is innocent and this can build your career, and then this turns into a new career for him, this takes her all the way to a top seat up in Congress. This is about chess, not checkers. I ain't said nobody gave a damn about nobody. I said she's on the job. Big difference. Said I thought Luna was supposed to drop some evidence today. No, they said they're going to be in D.C. on Thursday, y'all. But she did upload the evidence that she looked over on the national website so that the whole world can see all the botched evidence in its full totality, so we'll know what they're going to speak to Governor Newsom about. So she did do that. Good evening to you as well. Yep, that's right. They said 36 hours, which will be tomorrow. And remember, she said bipartisan committee. Hold on, I'm going to read y'all the caption because I was screenshotting everything today. Okay. Now, this is from London Heiress. The London Heiress page. Miss Diana London says, stay tuned for an announcement. The hashtag Free Tory Marathon continues. I'm currently in Washington, D.C., meeting with a bipartisan group of lawmakers who see the injustice in Tory's case and believe the evidence is overwhelmingly supports his innocence, that he should be released and the case was mishandled, should be investigated. At Rep Luna and others are calling on Galvin Newsom to pardon Tory. Hashtag Tory Lanez, hashtag Free Tory, hashtag Trump. And she has an umbrella with the last hashtag. Thank you. Many blessings to you, Austin, and may that be returned to you tenfold. So yeah, this is career building, everybody. And one thing that will bring when you get reps involved, you better realize that they smell a way bigger situation. The biggest crime out right now that's going to start new task force and that's going to bring new funding is going to be, trafficking. This case is going to help them get the fanfare that they need to put them in a position to research other bigger things, which is going to, like I said, build careers, y'all. Somebody knows there's a bigger bone attached to this. And they're going to use Tory's case to look at other evidence to open up other investigations that lead back to the same place, Pebble Nation. Y'all, this is about to get very, very intriguing. Yes, judicial reform on the top level. That's right. And see, remember what she said, that what Tory wants to do when he gets home. He wants to do prison reform. Prison reform makes money. You're talking about new departments forming out of Homeland Security with Border Patrol and to crack down on trafficking. All of those things are buzzwords that bring money. Yeah, you're right. This will set him up for life. Because, see, now she can help him. If he wants to go off into politics, she can help him go off into politics, and this becomes big business. So they want the VP baby, and Trump got a cent of stink. Yeah. Well, see, listen. Remember what I said about possible trafficking in the bigger picture. He goes after her. That gives him, once again, access to the books into the Knowles Carter marriage. Now, if you see everybody get investigated and most of them get dropped by the wayside because it's like, oh, well, you perform versus, let me look at the technicalities of you coming on. If it gets split up like that, it may just be a ploy to be able to look into somebody's books from a whole nother direction. Said, I have a feeling Kathy Ty and Alex Botts are about to get into big trouble. Glad you said that, because in a minute, y'all, we about to go off into my my old readings. So I'm gonna do this instead of going on station here tonight. It'll just be this one recording because I need this other phone to go through all of my old videos. Okay. Because I ain't going to do too much shuffling tonight, y'all. My arm is finally getting to the point where it's not inflamed. And I got a couple of readings to do in the morning. All righty. So I'm going to give y'all a chance to pick what we're going to look at out of a few of the old ones. Let's see. We got Tory Lanez has been found guilty. What's to expect next? We have the battle to the appellate court. And let's see, what is this one? I think this one is now that he's been sentenced. So y'all let me know which one you want to go over first, because we're going to go back through some of these old readings. And we're going to see from the old readings what's happening now. Because these are all from, let's see. I want to say the ones I just picked, these are like from 2 years. Okay, we'll see. I see an appellate court. I think I got 2 of those. Okay, so you're going to options again, Nisha. Tory Lanez has been found guilty. What's to expect now? We got Tory Daystar Peterson. This battle won't be easy. I think this is like an appellate court reading. I got 2 of those, though. And we got a now that he's been convicted. Oh, you said you did a good one when your neighbor were letting off firecrackers. Hey, Millie the Mystic. How are you, beautiful? Okay, I see now that he's been convicted twice. Okay, now that he's been found guilty in appellate court. So I'm going to do this one first and then the appellate court next. Okay.
Have you heard about the
No, we don't want to hear about none of this.
Pfizer allegedly failed to disclose the potential risk.
Bye.
All right. Grand Rising, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time you click on, this video is the right time for you. And I thank you in advance for your support and your viewership.
Hold on. Just so y'all can know which one this is. This is Daystar Tory Lanez Peterson, now that he's been sentenced to 10 years. And this was, Nisi, this was your subscriber's request.
This is a subscriber's request. Please forgive me, sweetheart. I can't remember your name right now, but I will have it in the title, and I will add you when this video is uploaded. You will definitely know because you'll have a mention. I was going to sleep on this and do this reading tomorrow, but I just couldn't. So even though I'm tired, I just got off from work and I got all this stuff going on with these different projects. I had to just go ahead and take some time before I wind down to do this reading for Tory Lanez, known to his family as Daystar Peterson. And I addressed in my last reading that the people who are behind this is not about who did what to who. This was the assassination of the character Tory Lanez, and it was done by destroying the credibility and the life of Daystar Peterson. And I'm saying that to say this. In entertainment, they retire characters all the time. That's why alter egos are a thing, because the alter ego can move in certain ways and say and do things that the actual person doesn't do. That's why the whole thing with personas are so important. The persona versus the person. So this is what we're seeing. They're assassinating the persona by legally destroying the person. And it's amazing to me, no matter how you feel about this case, if you take the notable names out of this case and you look at the evidence that was brought before a court of law, any court in America is it because the evidence is missing. There's conflicting testimonies and statements, and I mean lots of them. There's conflicting statements with the doctors to the severity of the injuries, and even the doctor who actually took the stand seemed to be a bit confused when he was questions about I want to say the severity of Megan's injury to the point to where she was unable to walk and needed therapy. He seemed like that was new to him, like almost like, how, what, where'd that come from, right? I mean, then you have Kelsey.
Okay, so let's take a break from the commentary. So we just found out from Representative Miss Luna that they found the original medical report. So she went back to the Dr. Lafredo report. And in that report, she is stating, the representative, Mrs. Luna, is stating that there were no fragments, that only glass was found as far as any type of fragment that was in that foot. She's saying that there were no bullet fragments, no shrapnel in the original paperwork, in the original reports at all. And she just released that as well. So that in itself was major because Megan just came forward and said there was no new evidence. There was nothing else. Leave her alone, calling people demons. And I thought that that was her playing semantics to a certain extent because, yeah, you're right. There is no new evidence. There was evidence that was sealed, that was unable to be brought into the court. And the evidence that was brought into the court was erroneously, a lot of it was erroneously represented in court. So now we've unsealed all of the files. We're pulling things out of all of the hiding places, which I told y'all last year was going to happen before he even got the petition answered for the appellate court. So this lady is on it already, okay? Because she clapped back like Tony Busby, like, oh, there's no new evidence? Watch this. And see, she released both of those two distinct pieces of information on different days. One day she told us that they found the Dr. Lafredo paperwork. Today she's mentioning that there is ring camera footage. Now I've been telling y'all there was footage, there was a video. So it's about to get very, very interesting.
Kelsey gets on the stand, and I have no idea how she didn't end up in contempt of court, because she played ring around the rosy the whole time she was on the stand. Tory's first defense team definitely dropped the ball, because if you go back to EJ's testimony actually was the nail in the coffin had he been cross-examined properly. So I had already stated in my last two readings on Tory that they were going to try to hold Tory for around 4 years. Matter of fact, I don't know if I know the last one for sure, and then the one.
Okay, so y'all hear that? Uh-oh. Okay, that can stay on the floor. Y'all hear that? I stated in the reading before this one 2 years ago that they were going to try to hold Tory for up to 4 years. The idea was to get him to break so that he would, take a plea, and he would have to do at least 4 to 4.5 years. Tory said no. After I stated that they were going to try to offer him a 4-year plea, they did. He turned it down.
One before that one, because I've done multiple. So before he ever, lost the initial trial, even got a verdict, I said that there was a possibility that they wanted him to do at least around 4 years. Now he's been sentenced to a 10-year sentence, and it's got to go before the Supreme Court for this to actually get out of the district that it possibly get a retrial.
If I'm gonna choose a pillow, it's definitely.
We don't want no damn pillows.
How amazing the memory foam. Cervical pet.
But the most intriguing part of this all is that it seems like Tory's lawyers get to a certain point and they just run out of gas. And nobody seems to really find that peculiar, that they'll jump in, they'll come in boxing and windmilling, doing all of this to get into the courtroom, and then they just get to a certain point to where it's like, oh, okay, I think I'm going to slow down here. So now that, I've gotten that out the way, I want to tap into the current energy. Where does Tory go from here? How are things going to work from here? And what's the reading is for entertainment purposes only. And energy is subjective, meaning that at any given point it can be altered. But with that being said, let's tap into the energy around Daystar Peterson, aka Tory Lanez. What is Tory to expect from this point on out? I can already tell you before I even shuffle these cards. It's beyond feeling betrayed. This is like shock. This is like, oh my God, this is really happening. This is my life. And he's going over everything that happened, all of his affiliations, everybody he's talked to that, I won't say they turned a cold shoulder, but they became more and more distant. He's thinking about conversations that he had with people, if he said anything to anyone that could have possibly.
Okay, so we do know that people did become sparse on Tory. He was very sure to let us know that when he was in the clutch, the one person that he was able to count on was Chris Brown. So this reading is from like 2 years ago. So he hadn't told us yet that everybody had turned on him, but I had already picked up on that.
Knows that people were sent in to kind of like, pump him for information to see where he was coming from. And some people just volunteered to do it so that they could, get that can't even talk, get that proverbial pat on the back, that pass. It's like, look, I got some information. Nobody even, requested it from them. All right, Five of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. So Five of Pentacles is not just the card of poverty and being in a poor house. This is him feeling like he's, really on the outside looking in. This is being ostracized. This is being stripped down to the bare nubs. And this is, him trying to decipher what's next. He's juggling with the idea of where does he go from here. Ooh, wow, I never paid attention to this with these cards, but I'm an intuitive reader, so anything that jumps out, it stands out for a reason. I want you all to pay attention to the design at the top of this Five of Pentacles. Now, I know that's not necessarily the Masonic symbol. It's very, very similar. And it's feeling like, people of a certain echelon, certain order, are responsible for, stripping him down and, pretty much picking away at him down to the bone.
So We already know that Representative Luna alluded to this when she made her first speech, and she talked about how the line between entertainment and law enforcement has kind of been blurred or smudged in some type of way. So I think that in itself is going to lead to possibly going off into investigation that could lead to RICO charges. She did say that whoever was responsible for helping to put him in here with erroneous evidence should expect retribution to come their way. So that was a major thing for her to say. So, Angel, do you think that was a destiny swap gone wrong because of Tory's protection? I think it was going to be, it wasn't necessarily going to be a destiny swap. It was going to be a disposal, right, about his protection, because he didn't give up. He chose to believe in God and fight. It backfired. They needed him to give up. And see, that's the thing that all of you got to understand. If you don't give up, they can't have, what belongs to you. Now, they could fight you into the ground for it, but they can't just have it. And they didn't expect Tory to be resilient, to fight back, to stand up for himself the way that he did. But good thing that he did, because here we are today and people are actually starting to take it serious.
Queen of Swords, which is an air sign. And we all know that Megan is an Aquarius, and Aquarius is definitely an air sign. So he's, like I said, he's juggling in his thoughts about everything that happened. She's very heavy in his mind right now. Why is that? Wow. So we got the Ace of Swords and we've got the Wheel of Fortune. And, he's looking at, his wealth, his resources. Everything is up in the air right now over this situation. And he's trying to figure out how can he get to the point where he can get the truth out. Okay? Because this is fast movement and expansion, but he's also thinking about how being in this big B energy right here got him in this situation. He's thinking about how being lower vibrational put him in harm's way.
Wait, if you've taken Uber since 2019, this is the.
I know we ain't about to do Uber. So as y'all can see, most definitely the word is getting out fast. Now it's a bipartisan concern.
And how dealing with her in this type of energy lined him up. Eight of Wands.
Thank you, honey.
And all of this came about swiftly. He feels like, wow, bottom of the deck, the artist. Okay? So he feels like all of this just came, tumbling down on him out of nowhere. And
Wait a minute. Megan unfollowed Glorilla. Ooh, Lord, didn't I tell y'all Voltron would form? Glorilla been waiting to shake her loose for so long. Oh my God. Y'all went from wannabes to we not gonna bees. Hey, Apostle Brenda Campbell. Lord have mercy. Y'all was just cousins last year, allegedly.
it could have all been so simple. It could have been alleviated with the truth. So, there's definitely something that's not being said about this whole situation, and we all know that. I mean, there were lies
Hey,
on
Tope,
everybody's
thank
end.
you.
Unfortunately, on Tory's end, he didn't tell the whole truth, not because he did something, but because he was trying to look out for everybody involved. He just didn't expect to get steamrolled. This is messed up because this feels like that whole nice guys finish last type thing. Wait a minute.
Ah.
Seven of Swords. Two of Swords. Something fell down here. Give me a second. Alrighty. Okay. So, Seven of Swords, very sneaky energy. Two of Swords, that caused him to be cut off from his family due to unearned income. So that's interesting because I said before that it's, I want to say very, very early on in my readings. I want to say between Kelsey and Megan, the assumption was always that Tory offered money to pay off Megan and Kelsey. But what this is feeling like, and I've seen this before, that money was offered towards one of these women, but not from him. And because of that, that caused somebody.
Okay, so y'all hear what I just said. They accused Tory of bribery with, $1 million bribe, right? Well, I always said from the very beginning that I felt that money was exchanged, but not from Tory. That one of the young ladies was given money, but it had nothing to do with Tory, did not come from Tory. Well, it ends up coming out later that Meg and her team put Kelsey in another apartment or condo for up to a year because she couldn't come back to the house. So, it was a form of some kind of payment was given to alleviate a situation, excuse me, but it did not come from Tory's end. So that's very important because that was a huge accusation that Megan had on behalf of Tory, that he was trying to bribe people with $1 million, and that he didn't want to go to jail because he was on papers. Come to find out, that was a lie. He didn't have any pending cases. He wasn't facing any charges. So nobody even talks about the fact that they figured out that that wasn't true, and they had to throw that out. And I saw a couple of you asking me if I pull cards. Sweetheart, I'm not really pulling cards tonight because my arm is inflamed. We're just going over old predictions so I can preserve my arm because I got a few clients that I got to have my arm for in the morning. Oh, that sounds good. Lobster and ribeye. Save me some.
Somebody to turn on him. This person cut him off and decided to go into this sneaky behavior, and they took, pretty much they took an offer because this person was considering their family, so they took an offer, and the offer caused him to be cut off from his family. Two of Cups. Now,
Okay, so y'all hear that? I said that one of the women took an offer because they were considering how things were going to affect their family, but that offer ended up cutting Tory off from his family. Down the line, we end up finding out that Kelsey was going to take an offer of immunity and plead the fifth. And her doing that, it sacrificed Tory because she pretty much played, slow bus and crayon eater on the stand. So we know how that went.
Cups is like soulmate, twin flame type energy. Also, people that are in a very, very deeply binded relationship. So, allegedly, okay, allegedly, this is looking like he's insinuating that there was something offered to Kelsey and it caused her to switch up on him and cut him off. But what this looks like to me is Kelsey was considering her family, her Two of Cups, the family she was about to have, and her being pregnant. Pretty much she had to make a pimp decision. So the artist falls under the Five of Pentacles, and he would be, the artist in this situation. Like I tell everybody, if you've been with me for a while, I don't just read what hits the table. I read as I shuffle any messages that pop out to me. If it's meant to come out, it will hit the table. But as you can see, Seven of Wands, the Chariot, and the Page of Swords. So Seven of Wands is somebody standing up for themselves, defending themselves. The Chariot is also a vehicle. Page of Swords is being watched, surveillance. So he's talking about being defensive, standing up for himself during a situation in the car, and there were onlookers watching. The artist in the Two of Cups falls under the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles falling over the Two of Cups is a card of juggling the person that you actually care about.
Damn it, Candy Crush. We was about to get into what happened in the vehicle, y'all. As y'all can see, I don't have premium.
Looking at how something like this, something that would seem so regular and so small, cost this Five of Pentacles to him and his profession. I mean, this is a lot of deep reflection. He's milling over everything that led up to this situation. Ace of Wands, Knight of Cups. So, that's being in hoe energy, because the Ace of Wands is that big D energy. Knight of Cups is coming to offer your cup. And that's to a certain extent being an opportunist, putting yourself out there so that you could it's wow. It's like he was social climbing through the influence of these women. And this goes back into that lower vibrational energy. So here it is. You really, really like Kelsey. Kelsey was somebody you could really see yourself kicking it with, being with. But to hook up with Megan, definitely would have got your clout up. And then when, you heard Kylie Jenner wanted you to come over, that was, clicking that clout up another 10,000 points, right? But now he's looking at the error in his ways, where he was blinded to the situations he was putting himself in by social climbing through sexual energy and not looking at the bigger picture. Yeah, Seven of Wands falls under the Wheel of Fortune. So it's like now he has to defend himself, and he has to defend his wealth, because this situation is eating away at a large portion of his wealth and what he thought was supposed to be, or is supposed to be, his family dynasty, what he's building, the brand that he's building for.
So we do know that this definitely took a large hit on Tory's assets, the money that he had amassed before he went to prison. He does have a nonprofit now that is taking on his case to help him, and through that nonprofit, he has also helped a lot of people to go home through the sales of his album, which to me is amazing in itself because here it is. This is a person who can't figure out how to get himself out, but he's helping other people until he can help himself. So that says a lot about his character because he could just be like, the hell with everybody. I'm in here, you in here, we all stuck. So that says a lot to who he is as a person, that he's still considerate enough to look out for somebody else when all the people around him threw him under the bus. You say Callie Love, Leroy Adams?
His child, his children, his children's children. This is
Wait a minute now. Sorry, I didn't hit a button.
supposed to be, generational wealth. Bottom of the deck, the reader. So the reader is somebody who's very intuitive. And I feel like somebody who's very close to Tory is very spiritually inclined, even to the point to where they can prophesy because they're that close with God. And Tory has a certain energy about him that if he taps in, he could be that person, but he was vibrating in such a low energy that he was out of alignment for his not even just his musical gifts but his spiritual gifts, because he comes from a very tapped in family. Queen of Cups. Now, this feels like he's saying that this Queen of Cups knows the truth. And this could be that intuitive person that I was just speaking on. And also, I'm not sure when Kelsey's birthday is. Anybody feel free, leave her, birthday or her zodiac down below. If she's a water sign, then this totally makes sense because he's saying that you know the truth. So this is like he's holding her accountable for not really putting it on the wood. You know what it is, you know what's going on, and you let this come down on me. Eight of Wands.
Okay, so I pulled that energy over 2 years ago that he felt betrayed. He's like, Kelsey, you know what really happened. You're putting me in a position because you don't want to say what happened. And now he's starting to understand that there are people working together to keep him in there that he didn't even expect to be a part of this. And now all of this is unfolding right now as we speak today. I don't know if it's any truth to this, but it's rumored that Kelsey has left the country. If anybody can confirm that, please let us know down in the chat.
You let this come down on me swiftly. Yeah, the reader, the tower, the Eight of Cups. So the reader, the tower, and the Eight of Cups is very intriguing to me because it's almost like he could have been warned about, the he could have been warned about the energy that he was in, but this feels like he could have been warned about his ways getting him into trouble. And he just, he kind of just shook it off. He brushed it off, was like, nah, it ain't even that big a deal. Like, somebody warned him about the energy around, and this is feeling like the energy around Megan in particular, because these two weren't the only two he was.
Alrighty. So I just told y'all in this reading that these two weren't the only two that he was dealing with. Well, listening to the Peterson album, we find out that he was really digging on Iggy Azalea, and that's the one he actually wanted to be with when it was all said and done. She's the one that ended up having his heart. So confirmation, these two are not the only two he was dealing with. So y'all got that from me over 2 years ago.
There were others sprinkled and peppered, here and there around, that he dealt with. This is that I get around type energy, right? But he definitely was warned about this in particular. And whoever this intuitive person is, the reader, the tower, the eight of cups, they let him know that this wasn't something he was just going to be able to jump in and out of. He wasn't going to be able to just walk away from this, all willy-nilly like it was no big deal. But he completely underestimated how big of a mess this was going to be when he walked away from this situation. So, yeah.
Row. What that it? Yeah, I ain't getting premium. So we know he definitely, underestimated how big this situation can get. I mean, I think we all did. Nobody thought in a million years that this would turn into this and last this long and he would be in the position that he's in now, especially after being attacked. But
The Emperor.
not Glorilla's now,
Now the
follow
Emperor is also
Henny.
the father
Wow.
of the deck. So it's a very, very big possibility that Tory's father had been counseling him about, being more careful with how he was dealing with women and being more careful about um, the types of situations that he was putting himself in. Telling him to be very mindful about the situations that he was putting himself in and the ways of the flesh and how it can be um, destructive. And he just, he brushed it off. He thought no big deal. This, here you go with all this religious stuff. But it was more so prophecy. Now he's starting to understand the wisdom of his father more and more. Okay? So you got the Queen of Wands and you got the Ten of Wands, right? Now, we know that Megan is a air sign. But anytime she pops up in this reading with Tory Lanez or whatnot, my card for the hot girl is the Queen of Wands because that's the fire sign queen. And he realizes that the energy that he ended up putting himself in put the weight of the world on his shoulders, almost unbearable. It feels like it's too heavy to carry, and it's attached to the situation with Megan. But what I'm finding interesting is that it's under the Six Pentacles. So it's kind of intriguing because it's like Kelsey got the deal of immunity that she took to make sure her and her family were secure. But allegedly, this unearned income that has to do with balancing the scales, and the scales represent justice in court, that's falling over the hot girl.
Oops, double confirmation, y'all. Once again, I saw that the unearned income that Kelsey received, it actually came from the hot girl and her team. And that's when we end up finding out that Megan had paid for Kelsey to have a place to stay for a whole year. And we don't know if she even gave her a stipend on top of that. So if there was $1 million spent, I'm going to say allegedly it came from Megan's team to Kelsey. And that's going to be something to look off into, because would that be enough to keep Kelsey quiet? He said, oh, Angel, the convention is in Houston. Interesting. Said her being a Leo moon makes sense as to her being the hot girl. Yeah, anytime I pull her cards, it's funny. It's like her sun and moon come out. Interesting you said that. The Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands come out for the air sign and the fire sign. Y'all. Funny how you go back to listen to the old readings and find new tea. But yeah, she accused him of giving Kelsey money, but it looks like it came from her. And like I said, if she gave her this money, was there any agreement once she gave her this money that Kelsey wouldn't say anything? And that's the reason why Kelsey also is afraid to speak, because if you took a bribe, then that also takes this in a whole nother direction.
Reading is for entertainment purposes only. Allegedly, is looking like there was some type of interesting deal that, you know, sweetened the pot for Megan. And it's something that's very beneficial for her that she didn't necessarily have to work for, but she had to show up and be present. And this is feeling like it's attached to this Ten of Wands. Six of Swords. This is moving on towards victory, moving on to calmer waters, leaving a negative situation behind for the artist. So, Five of Pentacles, the artist, and then the Queen of Swords, once again, which is the card that falls in her suit. This is going back to the energy of him wanting to move on peacefully from whatever energy he had with Megan. He was going to just, you know, allegedly he was going to move on from her, leave. Oh, my candle was popping. There we go. He was going to move on.
Did y'all hear that candle pop? I'm a go back. That candle popped so loud it sounded like somebody snapped their fingers. Hold on.
Now he's starting to understand the wisdom of his father more and more.
Hold on, let's go a little further up.
Okay, so you got the Queen of Wands.
If you've been trying to lose
Come
weight
on,
and
commercial.
have one of these insurance plans, you
No,
can
we're
work
not
with a
losing no damn
nutritionist
weight. We like to eat over here.
And like I said, this reading is for entertainment purposes only. Allegedly, is looking like there was some type of interesting deal that, you know, sweetened the pot for Megan. And it's something that's very beneficial for her that she didn't necessarily have to work for, but she had to show up and be present. And this is feeling like it's attached to this 10 of Wands. Six of Swords. This is moving on towards victory, moving on to calmer waters, leaving a negative situation behind for the artist. So, Five of Pentacles, the artist, and then the Queen of Swords, once again, which is the card that falls in her suit. This is going back to the energy of him wanting to move on peacefully from whatever energy he had with Megan. He was going to just, you know, allegedly he was going to move on from her, leave. Oh, my candle was popping. There we go. He was going to move on from her, leave well enough be, hey, it was fun while it lasted. You know, it's been real. And that turned into a tower. Now, possibly she didn't like being...
Hey, Cass. So y'all heard that candle pop, right? Tory's plan literally was just to move on, put everything behind. She can go her way. He went his way. Mind you, I already said that this was before we talked about the so-called bribe. It looked like the money and the help came from the hot girl side, and it was to get Kelsey situated and to possibly keep her quiet. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. So I don't think that was out yet.
dismissed. She felt like she should have been the one to dismiss him. How dare he, you know, switch up on her or cut her loose. So this is also going back
Hello,
to the
Electric
night
Mustafa.
that all of this happened. So, like I said, he's in heavy retrospection. He's looking over everything that's happened. He's looking over how things played out. He's looking at what could he have done to have not been in a situation. Reevaluating himself now in this situation. And he's seeing that this 10 of Wands comes out of him juggling the person that he actually wanted to be with, the relationship he actually wanted to be in. He juggled that and dealt with someone and added someone into the equation that ended up being his tower. So he's realizing, had he not have been thinking with the little head, that there's a very big chance that he wouldn't have gotten caught up in a situation due to, you know, just being weak to the flesh. So it's like this situation is building spiritual character for him, because now he's learning how to defeat his own shortcomings, because those shortcomings are what allowed this energy to be attached to him in the first place.
Find what you're looking for on Bumble.
No, we're not going on Bumble.
Keep being lazy about cleaning your apartment.
Oh, y'all, they gonna hit me with the double whammy, all the commercials. So, so now we're looking at, this is the initial energy right around the time that he was first convicted. Like, he's in disbelief. He's looking at the situation like, I can't believe that this happened. He can't believe that, you know, Kelsey pretty much threw him under the bus, acting as if she didn't have it all on the stand. And he's being accused of all types of things that aren't true, but it's like there's a gag order on him, so he can't he can't speak on it.
The air sign. So now we got the Wheel of Fortune and the Seven of Wands over the Queen of Wands. So, being that the Wheel of Fortune in the upright is like he was on the top of the world. Everything in his life was going great. You know, everything was turning out, roses. Everything was turning out better than he could have expected. And then he looks at this whole, defending himself against this Queen of Swords. He's realizing that, not only did the situation blow up in the vehicle, but he should have been more proactive about getting the message out about what actually happened. And I said before, he realized he has to go into what would be considered beast mode, savage mode. He can no longer spare feelings. He can no longer worry about people more than he worries about himself. Because he was trying to, have everybody in a situation to where nobody was thrown under the bus. But because he was thinking about everybody more than he was thinking about himself, it was used against him, and this was a huge disadvantage for him. And now he's truly understanding that.
So, update. He is in that no more Mr. Nice Guy mode. It took forever for Tory to finally stop saying, well, that's my friend. We pray for you. We forgive you. And he's finally realizing that no matter how much he prays for these people, no matter how much he forgives these people, he has to tell the truth. He got to just, you got to put it on the table. Whoever gets embarrassed, gets embarrassed. Whatever comes out, comes out. It's the only way that he's going to come home. Everything has to come out now. So confirmation on that. He finally stopped, trying to protect everybody that was trying to, get rid of him. Said I get so mad when he would say that mess. Well, I don't think he's going to be saying it no more, honey.
Two of Wands falling under the
Cashmere, we are nice, but when we go beast
Swords,
mode, oh baby, it's not what you want. We go ruthless.
He said, what really happened. Okay, a choice was made, Two of Wands. And it was a wish fulfillment. Nine of Wands for the wounded warrior. Now, we didn't get to see any footage of this altercation that they keep trying to deny. And I would not be surprised that if, they were able to.
Come on now, Candy Crush. Y'all, Candy Crush get on my nerves.
Ring cameras.
Wait a minute. What did I say? Hold on.
And this was a huge disadvantage for him. And now he's truly understanding that.
Y'all listen real close.
Two of Wands falling under the Ace of Swords, which is the truth, the Queen of Cups. Remember he said, what really happened. Okay, a choice was made, Two of Wands. And it was a wish fulfillment. Nine of Wands for the wounded warrior. Now, we didn't get to see any footage of this altercation that they keep trying to deny. And I would not be surprised that if, they were able to get these ring cameras and community cameras, because this is a wealthy neighborhood, So I'm pretty sure somebody.
What did State Representative Mrs. Luna say that they had today? I told y'all that it was other footage. I mentioned don't be surprised if they come out with the Ring camera footage and the community camera footage, the cameras that they use for the police where they look down from those street lights and things of that nature. Didn't I tell y'all Ring camera footage? Hold on one more time.
You know, is not, being told in its full entirety because a choice had to be made, which was a wish fulfillment for her. And that choice is attached to the whole story of how she became the wounded warrior.
Hold on.
Vehicle. But he should have been more proactive about getting the message out about what actually happened. And I said before, he realized he has to go into what would be considered beast mode, savage mode. He can no longer spare feelings. He can no longer worry about people more than he worries about himself. Because he was trying to, have everybody in a situation to where nobody was thrown under the bus.
Now, hold on, y'all. I'm going to pause this because I want y'all to hear a description that was used today in an interview. Okay? I want y'all to hear this interview. Remember what I just said. He was trying to help save people, got thrown under the bus. Okay. I want y'all to pay attention. This is for news and commentary purposes only. This is Tommy Loren, just in case you feel a little saucy, for commentary purposes.
Do you think Gavin Newsom has it in him to go against Megan Thee Stallion and the establishment that surrounds her?
Well, I pray that he does. I know, as you just mentioned, Megan Thee Stallion is one of the biggest elites in the country, probably around the world. She's connected to some of the biggest beacons of political power that there are, business interests. She has a lot of money and support and power behind her. Tory Lanez is a victim. He doesn't have that kind of support and power that she has. So it's certainly it has a negative balance on his side because he doesn't have that kind of support. And he's never had people come out like me to speak and say that I believe this guy's innocent, or even write an op-ed, or either other people who have joined this effort. The Congresswoman, there's never been this kind of thing. Megan has a lot of power. So I'm hopeful that he will look at the facts. I'm hopeful that he would act with integrity on this issue, and I'm hopeful he would do justice in this issue because Tory has a son at home. He needs to get home to his kid. And the fact that he almost was murdered for something I believe he didn't do is just, irreparable harm to the justice system itself.
You're exactly right on that. Well, we'll keep following it. Thank you for bringing light to it, of course, with your wonderful institute.
No, that's not Megyn Kelly. That's Charlamagne's girl. Hold on.
So I want to kind of break down what you said there and make sure I'm getting it correctly. Basically, what you're telling me is that, and what we heard as well, is that Tory Lanez was just trying to de-escalate it and, smacked the gun down to, try to lessen the damage or the violence or the carnage that could occur, and then that's what happened. Why do you think Megan Thee Stallion, we saw her social media post, why so hard? Do you think that she actually thinks?
Did y'all hear that opening? Did you hear how she broke down? Well, all Tory was trying to do was knock the gun down out of the way to keep an escalating situation from escalating. He was only de-escalating a situation and protecting two women. That setup before the whole rest of the interview started already let you know where her mindset was in her questioning and what she believed in this interview. Girl. And she usually says all of the things that sound the race and the cyst. But now Charlemagne is windmilling for dear life for, possibly for Pebble Nation, even though he was trying to make it look like good cop, bad cop. But here it is, Tory Loren is on the side that people would expect him to be on. Y'all, the power of spin is everything. It's all how they can spin the narrative for the perspective. So once again, that from 2 years ago, you see how that correlates here?
But because he was thinking about everybody more than he was thinking about himself, it was used against him, and this was a huge disadvantage for him. And now he's truly understanding that. Two of Wands falling under the Ace of Swords, which is the truth. The Queen of Cups. Remember I said, he said, you know what really happened? Okay, a choice was made, Two of Wands. And it was a wish fulfillment. Nine of Wands for the wounded warrior. Now, we didn't get to see any footage of this altercation that they keep trying to deny. And I would not be surprised that if, they were able to get these ring cameras and community cameras, because this is a wealthy neighborhood. So I'm pretty sure somebody's, home security system picked up this altercation. But speculation that Kelsey would have been considered the wounded warrior in this situation. He feels like it's the truth with her is not, being told in its full entirety, because a choice had to be made, which was a wish fulfillment for her. And that choice is attached to the whole story of how she became the wounded warrior. Six of Wands, moving forward towards victory. So let's delve into this story, because he's, like I said, he's taking us down memory lane, and he's going through all of the thoughts, all of the nuances of everything that's happened, right? So what exactly is the energy attached to this wounded warrior, this Nine of Wands? Listen, play with it not. The Star. The Star is the card of the Aquarius. Megan is the Aquarius. And between her and Kelsey, she is the Star. So, like I said, that goes to the altercation, King of Swords. King of Swords in the upright is someone who does not hold their tongue. They don't have time for worrying about feelings and how the delivery comes out about what they say. There was a sharp truth that was told, and somebody was very cutthroat with their communication, even though, hurt, it was a very, very sharp truth that was told, and that truth led to this wounded warrior energy with the Star, the Aquarius. Let's talk more about what this truth was. Six of Wands, moving forward towards victory. What was the victory? King of Swords, moving forward towards victory. Like I said, this is a very harsh communication, but it's a hard truth. It's a hard pill to swallow.
Okay, so that hard truth that came out was Tory going back and forth with both the girls in the vehicle. It comes out that, he's sleeping with Meg. Meg is going back and forth with Kelsey, telling her don't listen to him. And Kelsey realizes that Meg is, lying. And from that moment, it's like the situation between them escalate very, very swiftly. It's like Tory blurted it out. Was like, I'm tired. Pretty much, I'm tired of your shit. So we gonna end this all right here. So now here it is. Oh, you said especially with Offset, y'all going into some things. Yeah. So now we get to where the girls get into it after finally it's accepted that Kelsey is like, I know this man is not lying to me. Why in the world would you be sitting here lying? And I know he's telling the truth. Frosty, you said these readings were done last year and then solved the case. This one is 2 years old, baby. Almost 3.
If I'm gonna choose a pillow,
Damn it.
it's definitely
No, we don't want your
I
pillow.
can't believe how amazing the memory foam. Cervical.
Eat it.
Somebody's being foolish, also taking a leap of faith. I said, taking that leap of faith, someone's being foolish, and something was illuminated because, as you can see, the fool is out walking at night. This, even with the hair covering the eyes, this person had on rose tinted glasses, or they were blinded to what was really going on, and then boom, something was illuminated. So that's that harsh communication. So here it is. Let's remember there was an argument in the vehicle. At some point in the argument, it said that both women had ganged up on Tory because Tory was arguing with Megan, and Kelsey didn't like the way that he was speaking to her friend. So this is that harsh truth that came from Tory. Got it. And when Tory set the record straight, it led to the Wounded Warrior. That's how this fight started. Okay, so we all speculated on that. Now he's realizing that this was a foolish decision, okay? He didn't think that this was going to spark all of this. Five of Swords, arguing, harsh communication. And as you can see, this is 3 people. This is, everybody's back is to everybody. There's what appears to be 1 man, 2 women. And these people are all arguing. And there's 3 swords. 2 are down, 1 is up. Which means 2 people are being deceptive. 1 person is being honest. But those 2 swords down means this honesty is going to cause somebody to be cut off. Like I said, somebody was going to be cut off, the hermit. Somebody was going to be ostracized. Somebody was going to be penalized by having, relationships come to an end and having to.
Okay, so now we're getting the emotion of argument and the turning point when somebody saw lightning and then somebody got bust upside the head. Let's see what you say, Frosty. Say that's exactly what I meant. As soon as the investigation started, you already ate this case up before they even gave the verdict. Oh, I tried. Say when I said I don't want to. Y'all, no arguing in the chat, y'all. So we getting off into the meat and potatoes of the fight. So now we know Kelsey's blood is boiling, y'all. And I did a reading with the 1501, like Megan versus, and I described the fight at the end of that reading as well. But according to my reading and Sean Kelly, Kelsey got out, came around, gave Megan the business right after this argument. Now, I want to see when they finally tell the truth about this fight, how, descriptive they are.
To be alone. So, damn, that falls under the Eight of Wands, the Reader, the Tower, and the Eight of Cups. So now it's like, okay, all by myself, walking away from this whole situation. This Tower happens, relationships break up. This is Tory to himself. He knew that this truth was going to cause him to lose both of these women when he said it, but it was one of those things to where it's like, I'm pretty much, I'm tired of this shit. This is what it is. This is what happened. He was really, blunt about what was going on. And now he looks back on it and he feels like maybe I didn't have to deliver that message that way. Maybe if I had just been quiet, maybe if I just stayed home that night and I didn't even entertain this whole situation, I wouldn't be going through any of this right now. Five of Swords, Four of Cups. He's realizing this whole argument, this negative situation led to heavy, deep regret, because now it's like, this is a huge unrequited offer that came out of all of this arguing. Now, I find the story about what they were arguing about to be absolutely ridiculous. The part that they admitted to about, people's music and their catalog. But look at this, Eight of Pentacles. They really were arguing. Well, somebody was, allegedly, about something that had to do with work. So this is looking like, out of all things, no matter how ridiculous this is something that Kelsey was talking about that actually had a huge ring of honesty. So Megan was taking shots at his career and talking about his talent and his artistry.
Yeah, that was crazy to me. That really was a true part of what they were arguing about in the truck. For me to tap in and see that she really was trying to drag his music and things of that nature. So pretty much you get caught being a hoe, but you don't want to admit that you backdoored your friend. So now you insult him and his catalog and his music. Like, to see that in the reading that was true, I was outdone. I ain't gonna talk nothing about the Diddy trial tonight, Miss LaDon. But if y'all would like, I can come and do an extra live this week and tap in on all things Diddy. But we ain't gonna talk about him tonight. This is all Tory.
Please forgive me. Goodness gracious. So we know that everybody was exchanging low blows. So it seems like she was trying to tear him down, tear down his career, whatnot, because she was upset. And then he came through with the gut punch, so to speak. And it's like, okay, you talking about my music and my career, but why don't you tell your friend blah, blah, blah? You up here. That's how that transition. Got it. He got tired of her popping off, trying to down him, trying to demean him, trying to talk to him like he's lesser than, talking about him like he's not on her level, and pretty much demeaning him, his career, his talent, everything about him that makes him profitable. And he hit her with the gut punch and outed her to her friend.
The bottom line is everybody is psychic.
You know, they didn't hit me with a commercial again. What'd you say, Cass? Said his music outsells her and I look at God, baby. Said, child, don't even get me started on the marks with them. Okay, I'm a pick another night and we're going to dedicate it to the diddler. Lord, I know I'm going to have to take a spiritual bath before and after that reading because, ew. Okay, beat it, commercial.
So there is a huge ring of truth in how Kelsey described the argument. There's a lot being left out, but that is the gist of how that argument transitioned. Wow. That was petty. Knight of Wands. So, Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands. So, yes, we know that this is Knight of Wands because Knight of Wands is Mr. Here for the short time, not the long time. They were never supposed to go off into a real relationship. This was supposed to be, I see you when I see you. We smash when we smash. It's exciting. It's taboo. And it's exciting because it's something we ain't got no business doing, right? But it's like they were getting messy. People were, starting to pick up on this. People seen what was going on, Page of Swords. More people than not knew that there was something going on with these two. And this is also saying that this Eight of Pentacles, how they even hooked up in the first place was supposed to be regarding to work. They possibly were supposed to be talking about doing music together, some kind of collaboration. And instead of working, they ended up, working the sheets allegedly. So no wonder Kelsey didn't think anything about them being around each other because they were supposed to be working on something together, a possible project. And
so y'all hear that, right? Mr. Don, yes, they loaded me up with commercials. They making sure I get all of my $6. So here it is. I pulled in the energy that how they came across each other where they were supposed to be working on a project together. But somehow, some way, clothes fell off and allegedly they worked in the sheets. So, we never heard a project. We don't even know what the project could have possibly been. But we know they got to know each other in a very, very religious way. And this was before the Gayle King interview, y'all. Oh, thank you, Angel B. I said, I know my baby Nikki sitting back, feeding Papa Bear a beautiful meal. Listen. So I like to know what's going on with Drake as well. Baby, we ain't going to talk about nobody but Tory tonight. You got to keep those. Said I recalled her on quarantine radio during the pandemic. I do remember that as well. Maybe that was the work they were supposed to do because it looks like they came together for work. They did not initially come together to hook up. The situation progressed.
it is looking like one shot led to another, one tequila, two tequila, four panties and drawers all hit the floor, allegedly.
I saw Angel B.
And then, from there, hey, it was one of those it is what it is type moments.
Now, funny you just said quarantine radio. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't they doing shots on quarantine radio? Because I just made references to one tequila, two tequila, three tequila, four panties hit the floor. That was all you needed.
But after they hooked up, King of Pentacles, Megan started to understand that he was going places.
Find someone unexpected.
Damn. They making sure I'm making my money, y'all. I'm getting my commercial revenue.
He was really building something. For real, for real. And look at this. She was watching the King of Wands. So she was clocking him. Okay? This feels more like she was watching him, you know, seeing that, okay, he's leveling up, right? Because King of Wands, he's a fire sign. So that's him popping out, right? She knew that he was on his way up.
Okay. Now that's very important right there, y'all. She didn't know what Tory was going to be worth until after she worked with him. Okay? So she got over there in the cut with him, got to hearing about the inner workings of quarantine radio, and was like, oh, this Negro going somewhere. Now that's important because we find out that she was the one that encouraged Kelsey to kick it with Tory. And then turn around behind Kelsey's back on this situation where she was supposed to be working with him and said, oh, you actually turning this into a syndicated deal? $100 million deal? Oh, Lord, I dropped my napkin. And somehow her head ended up in his lap, allegedly. You know, she said maybe 1 or 2 times if she could remember, you know. Gail threw her off asking about it.
And allegedly, she put herself in a position to social climb.
They followed each other again. Oh, they both weak.
Now I'm getting why she was so hurt. Because he pulled this is one of those I pulled a you on you type situations. She put herself in a position to get, to get next to him, to get on with him, because she found out after being around him and dealing with him that he was, that dude, he was leveling up. He was definitely one to watch. So she doubled back and let him double tap, allegedly. Because this was going to open doors for her for work. And then he doubled back and decided that he was going to social climb through the whole Kylie Jenner situation.
Okay, so y'all hear that? So here it is. She finds out after working with him. I just said this. She finds out after working with him that this is going to be a huge syndicated deal, that he's going to be the man. He's going to make more money than half of hip hop just with this syndicated deal, right? And he's independent. So she decides, I jump on that myself, right? So here it is. They're under the understanding, or at least in his mind, that, we smash when we see each other. We have fun. We enjoy each other's company. But, this ain't that, right? So when he gets over to Kylie's house, he has the same mindset that Megan has. Like, oh, this is definitely a level up. And you I hit that. Okay, it's what's up, right? He did the same thing. Megan was like, how dare you? Wait a minute. I thought that I was the best you could do. Blew her mind, y'all. Hurt her all 2 of her feelings. The tequila wouldn't let her hide her feelings. Y'all, Meg and Glory following each other. They both weak. I pay neither one of them no mind, because I unfollow you and I let the world know I unfollowed you. I ain't following you back for what? I said what I said. I'm on what I'm on.
But the funniest part of it all is he just got to, play around in the pool drunk in his clothes. Him and Kylie didn't even get to the point to where him and Megan got. But it had her so hot because how dare you play leapfrog and leap right over me to this other chick right in my face. Even though she had did the same thing to her own friend. She felt like the audacity of him, how dare he do that to her.
Wait, if you've taken Uber since 2019?
No, we don't care about no damn Uber. And yes, Miss LaDon, it is rumored that Tory was one of, I guess, maybe 2 or 3. So, yeah. They said that was part of the reason she was so mad.
Interesting. He literally pulled her on her. Ace of Pentacles. I told you he was one to watch. He was getting to the bag. Ace of Pentacles means that he had a very huge deal coming in. There was something that he was about to do that was going to take him up into that $100 million bracket. Because you know, Ace of Pentacles, this is not rich. This is wealthy. Whatever he was about to do was going to make him wealthy. The Sun, happiest times, because that's like that one of the happiest cards in the deck. He was going up into the big boys club. And now look. King of Wands, 8 of Swords. Locked up, locked down, bound.
So, there it is. Finally, he ends up, locked up. That deal would have been extremely lucrative because it would have started off at $100 million without, like commercial viewing and sponsorship. It was $100 million coming in the door without him even selling a piece of music. So he would have been a superpower, just with the quarantine radio and starting his blog, and would have really built an infrastructure. You say, yeah, he broke the code to never work with another label again. Right. He broke the code to where he would make way more than he would ever make with a label. He could possibly make what the entire label would make by himself as an independent entity. So y'all, that dynamic right there in that reading really threw me. That she took that personal, because you literally played leapfrog over Kelsey head to double back, get with her dude, so that you could align yourself with him to ride his coattails for opportunities, because you found he was leveling up. But when he went over here, mind you, Megan's the one that made the call to invite him over to sit with Kylie Jenner. She made the call. But when he gets to talking to you, talking to her in your face, you just lose it. You can't take it. Like, that's crazy to me. I would never call a dude that I'm dealing with for another female if I knew it was going to make me feel some type of way. You couldn't have got me called a damn soul. For what? But she couldn't admit that they were dealing with each other because she would have to have been told that her friend was dealing with him. So y'all catch this dynamic? This is weird. That's why Jay wanted to take him down so that he could use his hoes to take him out. Interesting. Oh, thank you, Miss LaDon. Said, Angel, you're the truth, always on top of it. I try. So that was all that was about. Said, I think a call was made. Glow, go back. Henny, go back and forth. I don't think a call was made, but I do think somebody, bitched up, Because if I unfollow you, I'm not following you back. I don't care what nobody got to say. I mean, you already played this song in the background. You showed that you have support. So it, to go back look crazy. He said they had to get rid of him because he was making millions of dollars a day with no label, no deal, no help from them. And let's admit it, this a Leo, so he proud. He got his chest out. He peacocking. He popping his shit, right? And he's letting everybody know I broke the system and you can break it too. That's the part that did it. Was like, wait a minute, you about to teach everybody too? Oh no, we'll be done.
This is the epitome of going from sugar to shit. And I know it feels like I'm going the long way around, but this is definitely one of those long way around type cases because there's so many moving, intricate parts. So it feels like he's thinking of all of these different intricate moving parts because he's looking at how he's going to have to structure this case now that it has to go to an outside adjudicator to give him the opportunity for a retrial. Excuse me.
So we're at the 51-minute mark, and I've already predicted that Tory is in the mindset that he's going to have to take this to another court for a retrial, which is the introduction to me pulling the energy for the appellate court. And this was the now that he's sentenced reading. So his mindset in the very beginning, very early on, was to appeal this case. He never had it in his mind that he was just going to sit here and sit on this way. He always thought from the very beginning, okay, well, I'm just going to work on appealing this. But the appeal process was long and drawn out.
He's looking at everything that he's going to have to put on the floor. He's going to have to put a lot of information out there. He's going to have to be very detail oriented about the full dealings of how he dealt with everybody, what was actually happening. He's going to have to explain things in such a way to where it's going to possibly feel like it's surgical. Some of it is going to feel petty for some people because it's like, wait, why'd you even mention that? He didn't even have to say that. But in all actuality, there can be no stones left unturned. And now he's realizing, like I said before, no more Mr. Nice Guy. He's going to have to lay it all on the line. He's going to have to tell the full story in its entirety, no matter how messy it is, because his very life and livelihood depends on it. Because here he is. He's locked up. He's bound. He's stuck. He's trapped. And now he's realizing who he's actually dealing with, what he's actually dealing with. But it looks like there's happier times coming. Somebody's coming in with a message, or possibly he could be finally coming forward with a message once once some developments come about, because there's something that's going to be illuminated here about this whole situation that's going to start putting things into perspective.
Now, let's see. The 53-minute mark, I said somebody's going to come forward with a message. There's going to be like a update to the case, and it's going to illuminate some things and take the case in a new direction. Well, fast forward, Kelsey's bodyguard during the trial came forward after Tory was attacked, and he stated that Kelsey made the comment that she was the one who handled the gun and actually pow-powed it. So that definitely just happened recently.
then once again, the Eight of Swords coming out, happier times coming while he's bound, while he's stuck, while he's in jail. New opportunities, new actions being taken, Page of Wands. Like I said, new communication coming through about how he was stabbed in the back. Ten of Swords.
Y'all, that's crazy. I haven't listened to this reading in over a year. I said new information coming out about how he was stabbed in the back. Tory literally was stabbed in the back physically. Not just literally, you know, from the standpoint of everybody threw him on the bus. He physically was attacked. He was stabbed 14 times. I just said in this reading that these new developments would come. Happier times would come while he's in jail. That was a highlight. Boom. He actually was attacked. Y'all, that just blew me away. I promise you I haven't listened to this in well over a year, and it's over 2 years old.
He's taking the kid gloves off. He finally is realizing.
We're going to run that back a little bit.
This case, now that it has to go to an outside adjudicator to give him the opportunity for a retrial. Excuse me. He's looking at everything that he's going to have to put on the floor. He's going to have to put a lot of information out there. He's going to have to be very detail oriented about the full dealings of how he dealt with everybody, what was actually happening. He's going to have to explain things in such a way to where it's going to possibly feel like it's surgical. Some of it is going to feel petty for some people because it's like, wait, why'd you even mention that? He didn't even have to say that. But in all actuality, there can be no stones left unturned. And now he's realizing, like I said before, no more Mr. Nice Guy. He's going to have to lay it all on the line. He's going to have to tell the full story in its entirety, no matter how messy it is, because his very life and livelihood depends on it. Because here he is. He's locked up. He's bound. He's stuck. He's trapped. And now he's realizing who he's actually dealing with, what he's actually dealing with. But it looks like there's happier times coming. Somebody's coming in with a message, or possibly he could be finally coming forward with a message once once some developments come about, because there's something that's going to be illuminated here about this whole situation that's going to start putting things into perspective. And then, once again, the Eight of Swords coming out, happier times coming while he's bound, while he's stuck, while he's in jail. New opportunities, new actions being taken, Page of Wands. Knight of Swords. Like I said, new communication coming through about how he was stabbed in the back. Ten of Swords.
Yeah, that just whoa. So we know the op-ed piece was about to be launched. The reporter, he had a newspaper to contact all parties to let them know that this piece was coming out. So that was the new development. Shortly after that, he was attacked. But that was like a major highlight for him, that this was coming out, because it let him know that he was coming closer to coming home. So yeah, that was kind of eerie right there, because it's like, dang, to say that and it actually happened.
He's taking the kid gloves off. He finally is realizing that this is war. He got to be ready to come through like Leonidas in Sparta.
Damn. Okay, at least I'm getting my money, y'all.
Sad to say it, but humbleness will get him nowhere in this situation. He's going to have to go full savage mode. Time for him to communicate about this betrayal, what actually happened, so that he can bring the situation to rest. Four of Swords. Look at here. Look what he's going to have to discuss. See how it felt like I was going all the way around the corner to come back? But this is why. Five of Wands is fight. This is a card of physicality. He's going to have to tell the full story about how they got down on the floor out there in the middle of the street. He's going to have to tell every detail. See how this page of Wands keep popping out? That's new developments, new turns, new avenues, new opportunities. Two people being yoked and bound by toxic energy. Okay? So he's literally going to have to get up in the face of the beast and challenge the beast. He's going to have to tell everything, because this is the only way he's going to get balanced through a new beginning. Temperance. New opportunities coming after heartbreak. Three of Swords. Page of Wands finally falls down. So this whole situation.
Okay, so the new opportunity after heartbreak that I predicted was after Tory got hurt. It was like this case got a second wind. We got the state representative that got involved, and thank God Megan pissed her off, because the moment Megan started talking about bots and people lying and leave her alone, this lady decided to go on a press run. And I think that they already had coordinated the press run due to Miss London saying that it was going to be a marathon. So I like how they set this up to where, as soon as the interview dropped, and, let's say you missed the interview the night before, by the time you get up in the morning, there's a whole nother interview out. And it seems like they're going to have a rollout every day until they come forward to say whatever it is they need to say tomorrow, because there's some big information coming out tomorrow, and it's supposed to be bipartisan as well, which is epic. That's huge that they took the bipartisan, because now it's no longer just MAGA.
Situation is, he got 10 years, but there's new opportunities coming after the sentencing. Strength and temperance. Listen, strength is the card of Leo. Also, he has to tap into his inner strength. He has to tap into the Most High, who is the Lion of Judah. Okay? So that he can get balanced through a new beginning. But temperance is also the temperance angel. Once he taps into this energy, he's going to get all the inspiration and the help that he needs. But like I said, this is a hard, ugly journey. You got to think of Daniel in the lion's den, okay? Jonah in the well, even, the Messiah. He had to literally go to hell and come back in the midst of, serving his purpose, so that come out on the other side of being a sacrificial lamb. This is the experience that Tory is having right now. But there is an other side to this experience once he decides to really buckle down.
Come on, commercials.
Get prayed up and start piecing together the full story. Everything that he didn't want to tell that was going to shame people, that was going to possibly affect people's career, he has to throw it out there. Because look at this, the high priestess. This is him sitting on a lot of secret knowledge. The high priestess knows a lot and speaks very, very seldomly. There's a lot of energy here that he's been sitting on, a lot of information that he's been sitting on. There's so much going on because he was trying to protect so many people. Doesn't anybody find it interesting that we didn't know who was on the guest list for Kylie Jenner's party? We still don't know in its full entirety who was all there. These are also all people that he was trying to protect by not mentioning them, not saying, who all witnessed what and who all was present. I want y'all to think about that. Nobody has ever spoke about who was present. It was almost 2 years later before we knew Odell Beckham and another football player that he brought with him were at the party. We didn't.
And that's still true today, y'all. Still true today. We still have not received an official guest list of everyone that was at Kylie Jenner's home that evening that could tell us anything about what was going on at that house, the temperament and behavior of all parties that were there that night. Anyone that could attest to EJ's testimony about how Megan had become increasingly aggressive and he was trying to help her to leave and to go home because he felt she was being disrespectful towards Kylie. He's the only person that's given us that type of testimony that lets us know that, she was becoming problematic early in the evening. So I want to see in this new paperwork, are they going to list every person that was at that house? Because he they state when Megan came back for her alleged flip flop that all those people were gone. We need to know what time they left. Did they leave before Megan because there was tension? Did the house get cleared out? Like, how did everybody leave and who all were there? Because only EJ tells us that it's up to 12 people there at the kickback. Only 3 of them that were there didn't drink. It was him, Odell Beckham, and his guest, which was another white football player. Outside of that, he said everybody had polished off about 5 to 6 bottles of liquor. The bottles were like fifths within like 3 hours. So you mean tell me all these pissy drunk people got in their cars and we wobbled down the street and nobody noticed nothing? Like, this is interesting. He said that's why I was drunk crying in the ambulance. Said, Angel, have you seen that video of Megan drunk crying in the ambulance? No, I don't even want to see it at this point. It brought great joy to my heart to see the video of her with the unicorn knocking the door. Kill Little Hands did it. I know that's petty, but that was hilarious to me, y'all.
Didn't even get full clarification about that until EJ had made that statement in his testimony. He said that Odell and the white gentleman that came with Odell, the 3 of them weren't drinking. They were the only 3 out of the 12 people at this kickback that were not partaking in alcohol. So who were the other people? that were all drinking, because I want you all to think about the transcripts and the testimony of what EJ said. EJ said that they had consumed from 1 o'clock in the evening, around 1:30, excuse me, 1:30 in the afternoon, until I want to say maybe 4. They had consumed anywhere from, I want to say, 5 to 6 fifths of liquor. That's a lot of liquor to consume in such a short amount of time for possibly what, 8 people?
Find what you're looking for on Mumble.
Come on, Bumble. Oh, we not showing no Ozempic commercial. Stop telling my people to shoot themselves up with Ozempic.
And that was just, that afternoon. We're not talking about that night when Tory arrived. He talked about how Megan was supposed to cook. She went in the kitchen to go brown some ground beef to make like nachos or tacos or something. And whatever happened, she ended up not completing that task. And he had to go into the pool and go get Kelsey because Kelsey passed out in the pool on I want to say like a floaty or a raft or something. So he went and got her out the pool so that she didn't roll over and fall into the pool. And he took her and, put her in the bed so that she could go to sleep. So imagine everybody is this trashed before 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. And this is hours before Tory gets there, right? Nobody ever, ever, ever questioned who all took part in getting that wasted and what was the condition of all of those people that were drinking. These were all people that Tory, in his own way, was protecting because Tory didn't want anybody to get caught up. Looks like that's coming to.
So, y'all, this is going to get interesting because now we're going to get more information on what happened that whole entire evening. That whole entire evening. We're going to find out how the evening went, before Tory got there. We're going to find out how it shifted once he got there. We're going to find out the truth about what happened in that vehicle. We're going to find out the truth about, the scrapping in the street. And I can't wait to see this ring camera footage of this altercation, because when you hear Sean Holly's call, his 911 call, you can hear someone in the background. It's a man saying, "Megan, stop," before the firearm goes off. Also, Sean Kelly tells us in his testimony that Megan was in the driveway and all of them were beating her up. And his words was, we have to clean up for YouTube. I thought they were going to unalive her. So why wouldn't Megan tell us that she got jumped? Because that's what Sean Kelly told us. And if she got jumped, were they, really beating you up, Megan? Or were they disarming you? And that's where everything got messed up, because they were disarming you because you and Kelsey had this back and forth going on. And Kelsey ended up getting control of the firearm. It sounds to me like they were disarming you. Kelsey got a hold of it. Tory got a hold of Kelsey. This was from Sean Kelly's initial report before he got to court, sweetheart. And in his 911 call, you can hear in the background where the man is saying, "Megan, stop." So he's telling us why they're saying, "Megan, stop." But for some reason, Megan don't want to use that for sympathy. Now, why wouldn't you tell us you got beat up by a community? Why wouldn't you tell us, the punches was coming from all sides? They all beat me up. Why wouldn't you say that? That would make it so much more horrific. You got beat up by the whole entire street and they made you say dance, bitch, dance, and your feet was on fire. Like, why would you leave any of that out? Just interesting to me. I'm not going to leave out I got jumped and then turn around and say I got hit in both feet. Said, I thought she pulled out the blocky first too. They were wrestling and it went off. This is going to be very interesting when they really get to talking about what happened. And when it comes down to it, Meg, you got to take some accountability. Because none of this happens without you doing the most. Even the stuff being in Tory's vehicle. She took their stuff out of EJ's vehicle, put it in Tory's vehicle. We don't even know if Tory knew that she did that. So you imposed on this man to force your presence on him to keep him from dealing with the other woman, and it didn't work. He had the driver take you home, and you had to come back to show your ass. Said, I always wondered what could have happened that made both these girls protect each other. Maybe the 3 Papaws came from one girl and the other the 2. Could be. Could be. But I tell you, what would make each other, work together, whether you like each other or not, is not wanting to catch a firearm charge, especially for an unregistered, unlicensed firearm. But they sealed a lot of information on that firearm because it's like who actually owned it. Was it actually licensed? Because both of those women could have caught a 3 to 5, and it would have been a mandatory 5 for Megan because Megan already had a DV case where she allegedly pulled a firearm. So she wouldn't have gotten a slap on the wrist. She could have got an automatic 5. So it's like both of them could have ate a case. No, she wasn't trying to protect Meg. Not at all, baby. If anything, she was trying to protect herself. You got to think about it. That girl ended up finding out she lost her future potential man. She ended up homeless. She couldn't go back to the house. Even that night, Tory was like, let me get you a hotel while you get situated because she had nowhere to go. She could have been on a park bench. They were that cold. And to keep her from saying anything, she got threatened with, adult content leaking. So it wasn't about her protecting Meg. She had to do what she had to do to maneuver because they were playing in her face hard body. Y'all got to remember, all of Megan female friends sound like, they were all about to run down on her like a motorcycle gang. And they doing her like this while she pregnant. Like, she has to keep her head above water. Like, think about it. Can she get out and work? Can she get out and move around in the industry? Hell, Emilio is suing right now because he said Megan was blocking his bag and didn't pay him. So it's more of protecting herself and trying to keep her head above water. It's a messed up situation all the way around. But my thing with Kelsey is this. Baby, you should have cut Megan off a long damn time ago. You let Megan get too much play in your damn face. Tory ain't the first guy that she messed with. Oh no, she'd have been done with the first guy. I'd have cut him and her off. And baby, you got to stay away from me because my hands is active. Go that way. No ma'am. She couldn't have came back after the first one because, how do you explain the disrespect that I'm supposed to trust you again? No. Mm-mm. But thank you about the chair. So, yeah, this is, y'all, this is interesting going back on this video. Like I said, it's over 2 years old. So, just wow. Said it was split open and had other stitches in the pictures. According to Dr. Lafredo's work, he said that it was a superficial wound, and it required anywhere from 3 to 4 stitches. So that all of that amazes me, because it's like you can't get 3 to 4 stitches for any GSW. She's TV. I'm just going over old readings that I've done from like 2 and 3 years ago on the Tory Lanez case. And I did, let's see, we're on the video where I'm talking about now that he's been he's been convicted for 10 years. And I didn't realize in that video I predicted him getting stabbed in the back, which actually did happen recently. And a lot of I want to say the last of this video is talking about Tory going no more Mr. Nice Guy, realizing he has to get the story out, and that's going off into this current media rollout. Said Kelsey put her on and she ran down on her doing this little girl's homework and making her a star by setting her up with the right connections. Yeah, a lot of people don't respect Kelsey because they think she's just a tag along, but they don't understand Kelsey was a businesswoman. She was a promoter. If you want to get on stage at those bigger concerts, Kelsey was your girl. She got you, opening gigs as local artists to do bigger artist concerts. She got you visibility. So, Angel, will we see the footage of the actual altercation at night? It depends on what they have with those ring cams. They did say they have ring cams from people's houses, so we're going to see. But she did say that she can confirm on the video there was no dance, bitch, dance. So if she could see that on the video, I think we're going to see some very, very interesting things, because dance, bitch, dance would have been at the end, right? Doesn't that mean they would have already had the physical altercation? Sean Kelly said he didn't hear it. It was the one thing Kelsey was sure about she didn't hear. He said, so the second doctor opened the wound back up to take the bullet out. No. What we believe, Trisha, is the second doctor redid paperwork in the system and did nothing at all. So imagine you need some paperwork for your job, and somebody doctors up a report for you to take to work saying you've been to the doctor. Allegedly, that's what feels like happened with the second doctor. And Cedars-Sinai has been sued for such behaviors in the past. They just had a huge lawsuit where they were sued for charging people for services that had not been rendered, and charging them fees for things that never happened, or doing paperwork for injuries that did not occur. So they have been in trouble for this behavior. Said Tory's father is going live with Chris Como. Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call this a night, because that's one I want to see. Membership, I will be on tomorrow with you guys. Everybody, I'm going to come back Friday night to do an extra live, because I'm processing this reading from a few years ago, and it's, yeah, that really just, damn. Like, you don't think that you'll hear yourself saying that somebody gonna be stabbed in the back right after the person actually gets stabbed in the back. I forgot that I had even said that. Said I really pray someone enhances that audio. Well, that's the thing. When you get these high-level politicians involved, they have the ability to have all of that stuff done. And they can clean it up and have it, industry quality to their standing, or the way that they want it, within minutes. Like the FBI, Homeland Security, hell, even a good producer can, drop out the sound in one area and elevate it in another. I said, yeah, you said it many times. It's off the chain. Like, wow. Thank No station here tonight, baby. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I didn't want to miss out tonight, y'all. I am feeling better, but my arm is still kind of inflamed. So that's why I'm not throwing any cards. But I figured, we can go back through the old videos that I've already done, because everything that I started to predict 2 to 3 years ago is what we're witnessing right now. So I wanted to show you all, for all of you that weren't with me in the beginning, everybody that's been with me from the beginning, they've been heard this stuff years ago. So to see it now, it's like, oh wow, Angel, you said blah 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 blah, and it's coming out this week. Oh, I truly believe what's done in the dark comes out to light too. You know what? It is getting better. Y'all, it's a lot of rain right now. And when that barometric pressure drops, whew, it's doing the Watusi. Ah, you said all that ass whooping from Sunday. Oh my gosh. Y'all, if you haven't seen the live between me and Cass on Sunday, I guarantee you should. In that live, I said that Team Breezy was going to help to get over there and get Breezy out. He was not going to stand there any longer than June, and he's out. So as soon as I feel better, y'all, I want to get back into my deep dives, because I need my arm to be able to do what I need it to do, because y'all, this is so much happening right now. It's like overload. Monday was so much. I went on IG and just talked to everybody like I ain't gonna be able to do it. Like, this is crazy. I said that live with everything. I watched that the rest of the night. Thank you. That live was a roller coaster. Goodness gracious. There was a lot of information in it. It was a lot of confirmations and reconfirmations. Some of the things from the Benzitin reading, the Benzitin's Revenge, popped up in that one. So y'all, don't be surprised. It's like the timeline is being altered. Things are going to move really, really fast. Okay. Remember, I said all gas, no brakes. So thank you. I'm gonna work on relaxing my arm as much as I can. It's way better than it was last week, because I couldn't even drop my arm. It was just numb. So it's way better now. Um, I get a chance. I want to tap into Paulina Ana Luna, the state rep, because for those of you that are in my tarot class, I did a light tap in. Hey, Isaiah. I did a light tap in tarot class on the energy between her and Megan, and I saw that, she was going to post her support for Tory, but it was going to be in and out. Like, I'm going to put my stamp of approval on it, put this one tweet out, and, any little stuff I can help with, let me know. I just want to, put my support on it. Lord have mercy. Megan comes out and calls Tory a demon. He said, I tried to subscribe, but it wouldn't let me. If you have Apple, you probably got to go to a laptop or a desktop setting on your phone. If you have, I want to say, Android, it should let you be able to do it. But yeah, that tarot class, oh my gosh. That lady was going to move on with her business, y'all, until Megan pretty much called her the epitome of a bald head lie. And she came back like Tony Busby, immediately was like, oh, the people who put up false evidence will, be held accountable. She put out those masks. There was no bullet in the foot. Then she turned around and said that we got ring cameras on the house. I said, damn it, the lawyers couldn't get this in all of the years. Like, we needed this representative a long time ago. Said yeah, Zelia Banks did get her together. Whew. Yes, she did. She did get her together. And the funny thing was, what you said, it was what the whole internet said. Like, I usually don't mess with Azalea, but she had it right this time. Yes, this is the best drama of the year. This is the telenovela none of us expected to watch. Cause I mean, this is it's it's a lot. It's just like goodness gracious, y'all. The last thing she wanted to do was piss that lady off, and that lady is gonna make sure even more people join the media rollout now. So this is going to be very, very intriguing. I mean, very intriguing. And they're forcing Governor Newsom's hand. Yeah, Gemini season is coming in hot. I told y'all things would be popping by Gemini season. So, y'all, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. You say, oh, once Azalea clock in your tea, you know you done. Yeah, you know you done messed up. Yeah. I told y'all it was going to be full throttle by Gemini season. You said Gemini season is tomorrow. When is that announcement? Tomorrow in DC. We. But thank you, Justice for Us. For anyone that wants to get a private reading with me, your 30-minute reading will be $44. A full hour reading is $88. I do offer ancestral readings, and I do crime readings to help with missing persons. You have to email me at angelkissestheoracle@gmail.com for the price of the last two, because those are way more in depth. But I do have a swift way of getting back in touch with you so that I can book you as soon as possible. I thank all of you for your support. And I'm going to go ahead and rest this arm and get me a little downtime. Oh, you said I will email you. Please do, please do. Please do. Oh, I see somebody say stream Bigfoot. Oh, Lord. I told y'all Bigfoot was going to go back up the charts, and the barbs did not disappoint. So, y'all, I love y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow if you're in my membership. And for the public, I'm going to pop back out on Friday night to do an extra live so I can keep some content with you while my arm is healing. And we're going to get into some things on Friday, y'all. I just wanted to, do a throwback to Tory and look at, some of the old stuff that I'd already said. And I told y'all Team Breezy was going to go over there and get Chris. They like, ain't no way in the hell we bought these tickets and we ain't going to see Chris. Chris is coming up out of here. But y'all, have a great evening. See y'all soon. Good night.